Here we go. Here we go. Good afternoon. Let's make sure that my color is good here. Um, I'm backlit a little bit, so I'm hoping that you can see me well. So what I'm going to do is bring this a little bit closer, just in case. Yeah, should be good. Should be good. Camera usually makes that adjustment well for me. So what I want to talk about today is I put together a little list right here about training yourself as a basic actor or actress when you're just starting out. What are some things you can do? What are some things you can do on your own time, to make you a better actor or actress? Let's go through some of them now. Practice improvisation regularly. Regularly. Practice improvisation. Now, a lot of you probably know what improv is. It's making up dialogue, comedy, drama, mostly time comedy, on the spot. That is a skill that is invaluable for actors. Every actor should work at his or her improvisation skills. Now, if you're not too familiar with it, and say for instance you're in an area where you don't have any improvisation classes, you can look at local community colleges. Obviously, you can look online. But if you don't have any, bottom line is, the truth is, what if you don't have the funding to go to improv classes? Find some actors near you. Find some actors near you once a week, maybe for 1 hour. You guys get together and you practice improving content. All you have to do is get each actor to bring one idea to the group, and you guys start with that. You throw out whatever his or her idea is, and you improv off of it. Improvisation is vital to make yourself a good actor or actress. You must understand it, you must do it, you must practice. So if you're not that completely familiar, plenty of information online about improvisation skills for actors and actresses. Look it up, read it, put together a small group of actors, and you guys do some improv. You don't need to be any informal school to do improvisation. You can even do improvisation on your own. Nowadays, you can do it remotely. Get a couple of actors on Zoom, and you guys practice some improv. But in person is better. In person is always better. But online is a great backup if you can't do it in person. But I say regularly practice your improvisational skills. You're going to need them. So many times I've met actors that I've cast in projects, and a script change will come up, and I want their help too. They're the character. They're supposed to have done some background development on the character. Who's this character? Why is this character here? What happened in this character's life to put him or her in this situation at this current moment? You should be able to improv that. As an actor, that is one of your skills. That is what directors, producers, casting people expect from you. Sometimes you'll do the audition the way it's written, and then they'll ask you to improv it. You can't just stand there with a blank look on your face. You have to have a skill. I'm not saying you're going to be the best improvisational actor in the world, but you need to be able to do it. You need to be able to think of something related to the scene, or related to the character, or related to the situation they may throw out to you off the spot, and be able to start improvising. I'm not saying it has to be Shakespeare in the part, but you have to be able to improvise. You have to have that in your skill set. You have to have the confidence that you can improvise any situation if thrown at you. Because sometimes on the set of a film, something's not working. The dialogue's not working. The character's not working. The lines that you're saying to the lead character aren't working. And sometimes the director may say, improvise something. And you need to come up with it right there on the spot. So learn, practice, and get good at improvising. You don't even need people to do it. You can do it by yourself. You can take a book, open it up, read a sentence, and then improvise the rest of it. And it doesn't have to be something that takes a long time. You can do it regularly, once a week. Just grab a book off the shelf, grab a magazine, grab a newspaper, read the article, and then improvise the rest of the story. Build that improvisation skill. You're going to need it. Next step is to study great performances. Everybody, if you're interested in being an actor, everybody has a great movie that they like or a great television series that they like. Watch closely. What I used to do, I would turn down the volume and watch how the actors perform. Look at their faces, look at their emotions, look at their responses, how they turn, walk, look at someone or don't look at someone. Learn from people who you respect their talent, who you consider them great talents. Learn from them. And learn from the classic people too. Look at some generally accepted great actors. Some of those you may not feel would be in your list of the greatest actors, but go up to Internet Movie Database and find a list of the greatest actors rated highly. Look at some of their performances. Go to their old movies and look at some of the scenes. Learn from the greats, the people who do it well. Also look at people who are at the top of their acting game, and ones that are close to your type, ones that are close to the roles you could potentially play, and see how they perform those roles. Don't just watch the movie. Watch the actor and see how they perform. Watch the actress and see how she performs. How does she conduct herself? How does she interact with the other characters? How's her interaction with the female characters different from her interaction with the male actors? Study other actors who are working in the business and doing roles that you would like to get. That's one of the most important things actor or actress needs to do to get good, to get good, to get better. Never think you're the best you can be. You can always improve. Like I tell people, as from the editor's point of view, every movie has something that could be cut different or better. Every movie, every television show. Think about that for a minute. Every finished product could always be better. Every performance could always be a little bit better. Look, learn, and absorb the characters who you think do a good job. And look and learn from the characters who are highly rated that do a good job. You may not even know who they are, but you need to learn more. The more performances you see, the better you can do your own performances. So that's another area you need to look at. Strengthen your voice and body. There are such things as straight voice classes. If you can take one, take one. Even if it's a short-term thing. Study online about voice classes. That's the beauty of here on YouTube. I haven't looked them up, but there are definitely people here who do voice and body classes online that you can watch free right here on YouTube. Study, learn the basics, and practice making yourself to speak clearer, to speak well, to articulate your thoughts and get them out so people can understand them. And then also learn any local accents. You may have one. You've been trying to suppress it. Be able to act with your natural accent and be able to lose that accent if need be. So practice voice and body. Movement. That's a great class to take. A lot of times you get that in your first year in college. You'll get voice and movement in an acting class where they do the funny things, typical, stereotypical things. Act like a duck, act like a lion, quack, quack, quack. But those things loosen you up. They give you the ability to push away the reservations, the shyness, whatever may be holding you back. Doing basic voice and body movement study is an important aspect. I wouldn't say do it for 2 or 3 years, but it's an important aspect of becoming a good actor or actress. Rehearse weekly. Now here's a big one. You don't need anyone to rehearse. You can't use that as an excuse. You can rehearse on your own, because the truth of it is, most of the work you book as an actor or actress, you're going to be required to rehearse on your own. You're going to have to run the lines on your own. You're going to have to memorize the lines on your own. You're going to have to understand the meaning behind those lines on your own. So get into the habit of doing it. Do it weekly. If you're not in a project, or you're not in a play, or you're not, in a group with other actors, which I all recommend all of those you should try to get in. But not being in anything, not having anything near you, not an excuse, not an excuse. Again, you have YouTube. You can watch other people do it. You can listen to their advice. Listen to multiple people. Watch multiple people. Get different opinions. And then find out what technique works best for you. But rehearsing is the key. Setting aside some time. Setting up a camera like I have a camera right here. Learning some lines. Doesn't have to be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, a page if you have a great memory. And deliver those lines, rehearse those lines into the camera. Just like I'm doing right now. You don't even need to hear the other person's lines. You can just take a pause for the other person's line and then go on to your next line. Because what you're going to be looking at is your performance. How are you delivering? Are you believable? Are you too big? Are you too small? Are you whispering? Are you fidgeting? Are your eyes moving all around? I used to have a problem when I first started doing self-tapes. I would bring what I would call too much realism into a self-tape. I would be talking to my character like this. When you do a self-tape, most of the time you're looking at a character offline and you're delivering the lines. But what I would do that was wrong for a self-tape is that I would be talking, and then naturally when you talk to someone, most of the time you're not staring people dead in the eye while you're talking to them. But in acting, and especially in doing a self-tape, you need to remain eye contact with the person you're talking to, your reader. Or if someone's reading over the phone, you need to pick a spot where the reader is, and you need to maintain that eye contact. But what I did wrong a lot was I would look away, like you do in real life. Like if you're talking to someone, you never stare at someone constantly while you're talking to them in real life. Think about it. Think about the next conversation you have with someone, and try to be conscious of how much eye contact you have. Now, if you're having an intense argument, you may be looking at somebody right straight in the eye and never break your gaze. But in most conversations in real life, you don't stare like that because it makes you look weird. You sometimes make people afraid. So you would naturally look away for a moment. You may be talking. Yeah, well, I went to the park yesterday, and I saw this guy, and you would not believe what he was doing. I remember he was near the basketball court, and then all of a sudden he walked over to me, and the guy looks me right in the face, and he just starts barking like a dog. So did you see what I did there? I just naturally looked away while I was talking. And then when I had something important to say, what I did was I looked right at my person who I'm talking to. So be conscious of that when you rehearse. Because in film, television, most of the time, they want you to maintain eye contact with the person you're talking to. Now, it could be written as a character where you're not looking at the person in the eye. Maybe you have a problem. Maybe you can play it more natural, depending upon the role, depending upon the character. But in most cases, unless told otherwise, you look at who you're talking to in an acting scene, in a television scene, in a role, in a play, in a stage. Unless you're moving around the room, you got some action, you're fighting or whatever, you're having dinner, you're more realistic and natural. But a lot of times, most of the time, you're looking at your scene partner, and that's what you do in audition. So those are the things you need to practice in rehearsal. Looking at your scene partner, really listening. When they speak to you, you're really listening. You're intently listening. That's what casting directors, agents, managers, producers, that's what they're looking for when they're thinking about casting somebody for a role. Do they really listen? Do they maintain eye contact when they speak and when they listen to the other actor returning the dialogue? You still can be natural. You don't have to stare like a madman with the Manson eyes, but you, majority of the time, look at your scene partner. And it's natural to look away once in a while, but that was my habit. I looked away too much. And once that was pointed out to me, and once it got through my thick skull, I realized that there are different types of performances, especially when you're doing self-tapes. Now I love self-tapes because I used to go to a lot of auditions, and I'd go in person. And the worst thing is going on an audition in person when you know yourself that you're not right for the character. The character is written in the script. It's supposed to be, for myself, I'm tall, I'm 6'2". Character is written as 5'2". And they call me in anyway. So I know that I'm not right for the role. And being 5'2" is something important to the script, because the guy's name is Shorty and the movie's all about him being short. So, sometimes it's just obvious that you're not right for the role, but always go, because there could be other roles. They could be calling you in for another role and just not telling you. So, go positive. Always go and do your best. But sometimes you know that you're not right, but you could be wrong. So, the final things I want to talk about is take direction. Now, this is hard for a lot of actors. When you work on a role and you build a backstory, you decide how you're going to deliver it, and you deliver it, say for instance, let's take this to the next step. You deliver it for the audition and you get a call back. Excuse me. Let me grab water. Excuse me. I apologize. I didn't have my water close. Excuse me. So you go to the audition. They like what you did. They got you there. You're going to call back. And then they say after the audition callback, they say, that was good, but can you try it this way? And they give you some weird, way out, wacky way they want you to do the audition. What do? Do you tell them, no, I can't do it that way because I've worked on it this way and I feel the character would deliver his lines this way because of this X, Y, and Z, and I know the character went to Yale and Harvard, and so he's very educated and he would, no. You take direction. All actors need to be able to take direction. Now, I've worked with a number of actors in my life. Sometimes I'm partnered with actors who I'm directing in the production, and they still have to take direction. And sometimes I can tell they don't want to, but as a director, I may want to have a version of that take a different way. And so I'll ask them to do it. Nice and kindly. You need to take direction. Because when I'm set, and you're working with a named director, and the crew of 100 people are there, they don't want to hear you try to explain to the director why the character wouldn't say this and why the character wouldn't do that. Now, I'm not talking about doing anything, if they ask you to do something that's inappropriate. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about normal, general acting, where they ask you to switch your character's delivery. Talk slower. Talk faster. Talk fast at the first part and then slow down at the second part. You never know what kind of direction you're going to get. But as an actor, you need to do that version. That's your job. That's why they hired you. Actors have to be able to take direction. Now, here's a great way to practice this. Get a couple of actors together, maybe 2 or 3 friends who are actors. You guys work on scenes. And then the point of the practice is for them to give you a different way to do it and you to see if you can do it that different way. Get used to being directed. Get used to taking changes and trying something a different way. Get used to taking direction. Get that in your mind that what I prepared is great. I love it. I want to do it that way, but you might not be able to. Accept it. Accept it and try the director's way. Do it the director's way. Now, if you're a big star, you're Tom Cruise, you're going to do it your way. But wait until you get up there and do that. When you're a character actor or a day player or you're on a commercial, do what the director, give them the delivery they want. They have a vision, and it's their vision. It's not your vision. Give the director what he or she wants. Make those changes. Implement those into the character you've built and put those changes on top. Those changes are the icing on the cake. Be able to do it. Be ready to do it. It can come at an audition. It can come at a callback. It can come at it on the day of the set. I know there's so many times I've been the day of the set and they decide to change the line. And they decide to change the lines or the character's intention. And they give it to me. And what do? I do it their way. That's how this business works. The actor is there to give a performance. The director is directing that performance and globally the whole project and all the other actors' performances. So you do it their way. Just as simple as that. You need to get used to taking direction because that's the actor's job. All right, so those are the tips I have. I'm going to come back with more. I kind of like this, talking about how to make yourself a better actor without having to go to an official, formal film school. Because there are a lot of people out there that don't have the money to do it right away. When you get the money, do it. But you don't sit at home and twiddle your thumbs and don't rehearse and don't practice. Practice regularly. Study great performances. Strengthen your voice and body. Rehearse weekly and practice taking direction. All those can be done alone, all by your little lonesome. All right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.